Welcome to Superstitions, Traditions, and Definitions. I'm Kristen.
I'm Carol. Still. Yep.
I'm working on my
Alter ego. I knew you were going to say that.
I haven't decided yet if I want to be a superhero or a villain.
I'd go villain.
I lean that way.
I would hope so.
I just want the night in jail, though, not prison, and it's a fine line. So
you and your night in jail.
Just one, maybe two.
Why? Why does that sound fun to you?
My sister had a blast.
Well, you don't have all her personalities.
You mean I don't have her schizophrenia?
That.
Okay.
Whatever it was.
I don't think schizophrenia is required to have a good time in jail.
I bet it is.
You think so?
I'm sure it helps.
I bet it helps.
Okay. All right. Get it. What are we doing?
All right.
What are we doing today?
Today we are going to talk about King Tut's curse.
Exciting.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Get it.
All right. So
I can't wait. I bet you found lots of stuff I haven't heard of.
Maybe.
I hope so, because I know a lot about this.
So do I.
All right. Go.
I didn't even write half of it down because I'm like, I got this. So history. Let's do the history lesson first.
Perfect. I love it.
King Tut was a child pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
He ascended to the throne at 9.
Yes.
He died at 19.
It wasn't a very good run.
It was 10 years.
It still wasn't a very good run. You're only a child.
True that. Not a very good run.
No.
But he died at 19 in 1324 BC.
Okay.
His tomb wasn't discovered until 1922.
Right.
It was the first undisturbed tomb discovered. It hadn't been plundered, so most everything was still there.
Right.
Lots of treasures. People believed that disturbing mummies and tombs of Egyptian pharaohs brought bad luck, illness, and death. So King Tut died from complications from a broken leg compounded by malaria.
Gotcha.
He was frail, had a bone disorder, was the product of incest.
All the inbreeding, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought maybe that had some to do.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He had a club foot.
Oh.
Most likely required a cane when walking, and there were several in his tomb with him.
Several canes?
Yes.
Okay, not several club feet.
No.
They didn't collect them and just like pile them up in the corner?
Yeah. He just had the one club foot.
Pile of bodies, pile of heads. Wasn't anything like that?
There were 2 babies in his tomb, 2 stillborn babies.
His?
Mm-hmm.
From, not his, but
Yeah, they were his.
He
fathered them. Yes.
He did not have them have
them.
He
didn't. He did not give birth to them.
No.
But he did father them.
Do we know who their mothers were?
We're going to get there.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. I'm listening intently.
It was believed at one time that Queen Nefertiti was his mother. However, DNA proved otherwise. Oh. So King Akhenaten was his father.
Okay. Yeah, very nice penmanship.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And his wife was Nefertiti.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 had 6 children together.
Okay.
All girls.
Were they brother and sister?
No.
Okay. Were they a little further? I'm sure they were related.
No.
They weren't related at all?
As far as DNA testing goes, they couldn't find.
They must have been an anomaly back then.
Right.
All girls. 6 girls.
6 girls. They had 6 girls together. Amenhotep III and his wife Tai were Akhenaten's parents. They were also the parents of the female mummy that was determined to be the biological mother of King Tut.
Okay, so instead of she was also his aunt, or did I get that wrong?
Tut's father was the heretic king, which is something we all knew,
The heretic king, yes.
Akhenaten.
Mm-hmm.
According to DNA tests, which proved that Amenhotep and his wife Tai were Akhenaten's parents.
Okay.
They were also the biological parents of the female mummy found interred
So
close to.
they were grandparents to.
Yes, these guys were grandparents to Tut.
Okay.
And their biological daughter was Tut's mother. So they were double grandparents. They were moms and dads,
Okay.
biological parents.
Yeah. When you have that closely related, yeah,
Yes.
you're double related at least.
Yes. Okay, so then King Akhenaten marries Nefertiti.
Okay.
They have 6 girls.
Right.
He has Tut with his sister.
With his sister?
Yes,
Okay.
Akhenaten had King Tut with his biological sister.
Okay.
So his dad,
Yes.
Tut's dad, and his stepmom Nefertiti had the 6 girls. Tut married one of those 6. He married the oldest, who was actually older than him.
Okay. All right.
The 2 stillborn babies that were in the tomb of King Tut were his and his half sisters.
Okay.
DNA testing had proven. I think that is okay. That is where I got with the history.
Okay.
So, lots of treasures found in the tomb. Canes that were not common in Egyptian pharaohs' tombs,
Mm-hmm.
which was because of his clubfoot and issues from being the product of incest. And then the 2 babies.
Right.
They were married around the time he ascended to the throne.
Right.
And she was, I believe, 4 years older than him.
Oh, well, that's not too bad.
Right.
It's not like 26 years older
Right.
than him.
No.
Thank goodness.
No, they were both. She was a teenager and he was not quite a teenager when they were married. Okay, so now on to the curse.
Gotcha.
There is belief now that upon entering the tomb, one of the inscriptions found in the hieroglyphics was a curse.
Does it threaten you?
Huh?
Was it a threat?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
And that isn't true.
Oh.
That wasn't
What did it say?
nothing.
Oh.
I mean, there were.
It was just a picture.
Yeah, there were things, but
Okay.
the curse was stories and stories of stories all mixed together.
Okay.
And then it just ended up being common belief that there was this curse on the entrance of the tomb.
Gotcha.
Several people. Well, okay, it was 1922, so all of them have gotten dead.
Mm-hmm.
But then one of the first people to pass King's Tut's tomb was opened in November of 22.
Okay.
1922. It had laid undisturbed for 3,300 years.
Okay.
The financer was a British.
Right.
Um,
Wasn't the whole dig English?
yes.
Okay.
It was all, yes. He was a British earl, the financer of the trip was. He financed the excavation. George Herbert, the man who threw all the money for this dig, died shortly after, within a year. He had gotten a mosquito bite on his face
Oh.
while he was shaving he opened the wound and he actually died from blood poisoning. So that's when the rumors and the theories started of,
Because they're like, oh,
yeah,
look. Yeah, there were a lot of people that died, in conjunction with this. But,
there were actually a couple who did die from malaria, being bit by a mosquito in.
no, Tut's the one who bit them. It was his ghost.
Oh, I'm sure.
I bet it was. I mean, why would you have 3 strands of malaria if you're not going to use it?
That's right.
It's overkill. I mean, and I don't mean like. Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't trying to pun. That's a lot of malaria to have, is what I'm saying.
That is a lot of malaria to have and
Isn't
not
it?
share.
Is it not enough to have 1 strand of malaria? Why do we need 3?
I don't know.
Was it bad luck because it was odd? I mean, if he'd had 2 strands of malaria, would he have
probably
been
would have
okay?
been fine.
They would have canceled each other
Could
out.
have been the longest living Pharaoh.
Good of?
Yeah.
Didn't go that way though, did it?
Didn't.
No.
I mean, on the plus side, he wasn't the heretic king.
No. I mean, but he was young.
That was his daddy.
Well, way too young.
He was way too young.
It was his dad, as far as we know. Maybe mom had a secret. I mean, who knows? Who knows?
It was his dad. DNA proved.
Okay. Maybe somebody lied just to keep the story going. Maybe there's a little band of scientists who actually know the truth.
Maybe.
Yep.
Maybe.
I'm going to say probably not, but I mean, it's a fun theory. Who else died?
Okay, so there were several people that were not a part of the excavation, but received gifts
Oh, from the
tomb that died.
that weren't theirs.
One of them, Howard had, what was it? Howard Carter. I always want to say it backwards.
Carter Howard.
Yes. Okay. Howard Carter, the archaeologist, had given gifts to friends.
Was it friends or investors or both, or
both?
People he was trying to like grease the wheels with?
Quite possibly.
I mean,
quite possibly.
Like
they had no ties to this particular excavation.
It's a lot of treasure to have your hands on. And
Gotcha. Anyway, there was one he had given to somebody. Once it got into the home, the house burnt down shortly after.
That's some crap.
When this particular friend went to rebuild his home, there was a flood.
Oh.
So.
Had there ever been a flood before?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's angry bad luck flood.
Angry bad luck flood. And fire.
And fire.
The house had also never been on fire before.
Well, yeah, I'm just, just go with me here. If there was a fire and then the flood came in and saved the day.
It was after. The fire had already been put out.
Damn. Okay.
When the flood came. So what he gave the person was a metal hand. Like, I don't know. I didn't see pictures. Hand?
Oh.
What I pictured was Thing from the Addams Family.
Yeah. I was thinking the claw that's stuck in the kid's door in the scary stories. Candyman. Maybe it was Candyman. He's got a hook. He used to have a hand, and it got cut off because he was an artist. You don't know the story of Candyman?
No, but okay. I thought artists were supposed to take their ears off.
Well, no, he didn't choose to cut his hand off.
Oh.
He was, yes.
So if it's not your choice, you lose a hand. If it is your choice,
not exactly.
You give up an ear?
No. If you're crazy, you cut your ear off. I mean, I could see Van Gogh being crazy from all of the genius inside that head. I mean, you would think it would drive you freaking crazy.
I know, I feel it.
Mm-hmm. Don't cut your ear off.
I'm going to keep it.
Yep, keep your ear.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a lot of hair, though. You could, cover that up.
Cover it up. Nobody would ever know.
You can't wear sunglasses or anything.
Oh, no,
you would be, yeah, definitely.
It would make it difficult.
Yes. And you'd be like, oh, why am I cursed with genius? Now I can't wear sunglasses. Damn it. Mm-hmm. All right. Enough of that. Anyway.
Okay, so this hand,
the
artifact that he was given.
Oh, it's the monkey's paw. Not the monkey's hand. Why am I saying that? Monkey's paw.
monkey's paw. It was a person.
You get a wish, but it takes something from you. Ooh.
That's not nice.
No, that's why you don't play with the monkey's paw. But anyway,
Okay.
so he gave them a hand.
Yes, it was just a sculpture of a hand with a bracelet. There was an inscription on the bracelet
that said,
I don't know what it really said. That is kind of the start to, or it fed into the whole mummy's curse, because then it was going around that the inscription said, curse to whoever moves his body. But that's not,
don't shake hands with the cursed,
right.
Amputated
Right.
paw, their hand thing. Gotcha.
There was an American financier who visited the tomb about a year later.
Okay.
Was bit by a mosquito and died of.
They have mosquitoes in the desert.
I mean, that's what that died from.
Well, I know, but they also had water and green and all this stuff back in his day.
Oh, that's true.
So maybe they would have. Did it live 3,300 years in that tomb? Okay, yeah, with no water and no. I mean, you know, mosquitoes need water.
That's true.
Otherwise, they are not going to be born. I love the questions. Come on. What did that inscription say? You don't know.
I don't.
You should have known.
I don't know.
I don't think anybody knows. I bet somebody knows.
I'm sure the
lots of people read. Well, they read hieroglyphics. I'm sure they could. Yes, there's a whole Rosetta Stone thing with that. You know, just go and like look it up, and then they could tell us. Probably the secret to life. Answers to the universe.
Probably.
Curse. Ah.
Anyway,
I'm just saying.
An American financier visited the tomb.
Marvelous.
He did not make it home.
Ooh.
He fell sick almost immediately. Walking in the tomb.
From the stale air full of malaria.
Probably.
That's what it was. Tell me.
The financier's half brother,
mm-hmm.
who had nothing at all to do with any of this.
Right.
King Tut, the excavation, nothing. He just happened to be.
He's just related.
Ooh. He died of sepsis from dental surgery, and so they're attributing that to the curse.
I would attribute that to sloppy dental procedures.
Yes.
And things.
It's attributed because it was.
Because it happened.
Well, because it happened, and it happened so closely to his brother's death. So they're like, oh, the curse
better be
spreads.
Across
the family tree. It travels down branches.
Apparently.
Another person who visited the tomb told people he was going to succumb. He wrote in his journal shortly before dying that he was succumbing to the king's curse.
Okay.
He died by suicide, but wrote in his journal that he was succumbing to the king's curse. He, in his journal, blamed seeing people. First of all, they don't know for sure that he was on this excavation. Okay, so he committed suicide 2 years later in 1924.
Okay.
Hundreds of people ended up working Tut's tomb and the excavation and blah, blah, blah.
And they didn't die from this.
Correct.
Probably have since then.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Hundreds of people in those 2 years worked this excavation, financed this excavation, had associations with this excavation, and a dozen or so passed. For
maybe
unexpected reasons.
Maybe they had like a seance, or they burned things, or they did something, and then that was the only 12. They didn't get to unlucky 13. We've done 13 on here before. What if they had a 13th person die? That probably meant everybody.
Maybe he was the 13th.
And he saved himself.
Does it count when you commit suicide? Does it count as saving yourself?
I think you're stacking the deck when you're like, I'm going to be killed, and then you do it yourself.
But
there's nothing prophetic about that. No. That's a cry for help.
Yes. He had written in his journal that he was depressed, essentially, over the deaths of some of his colleagues in association to the king's curse, and that he would succumb to it as
Sounds
well.
like some self-fulfilling prophecy. Did he just manifest his own death because, these other people died, so it's probably going to be me too.
Right. It is also, people believe that Howard Carter, the main archaeologist who discovered the tomb, died from Tut's curse.
Right.
However, he lived almost 11 years.
Did Tut's curse have to catch up with him?
He ran fast.
He must have moved.
He moved fast.
Hid.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe he changed his name and then it couldn't find him.
The second person, so Howard was the first person to enter the tomb. The second person to enter the tomb died under mysterious circumstances.
Goodness.
8 years later.
Okay.
So
obviously.
So
it's a patient curse.
Yes.
I'll get you eventually. You're going to die one way or another. And
I got to burn a house down and flood and...
Yep. And then I've got to, whisper in your ear and convince you to kill yourself.
He was found smothered in his bed.
Sounds like some hokum to me.
So I don't know how well they watched Tut's mummy.
Apparently not very well. He must have got up and
But
snuck
at some
out.
point, 8 years later,
Gotcha.
he did. He
Gotcha,
got up. And he
sucker.
was like, dude, you were number 2. I'm letting number 1 live for a couple more years, but it's time to take you out.
I'm going to lull you into a false sense of security. Yep. You thought it was over. Nothing's over. Nothing's over. You stole all my shit that I needed in the afterlife.
Exactly.
So you can suck it. I'm going to kill you, and then you'll be my slave in the afterlife because I have killed you. Finders keepers, baby.
Mm-hmm. The first person to x-ray King Tut
died
3 days later. Mysteriously got sick the very next day, and 3 days later he died.
3 strands of malaria, man. Take your pick.
That's right.
A, B, or C.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Another Egyptologist who was a member of Carter's team and was there when the tomb was opened.
Yes. Returned
home to find that his pet canary had been eaten by a cobra.
A cobra of all things?
Mm-hmm.
For Christ's sake. I was going to make a joke about coal miners and it apparently didn't go that way. So it was a snake.
Yeah.
The bird wasn't fast enough to get away from the snake. Or the bird was stuck in the cage and the snake decided, let me join you in there, big boy. Mwah. How would you attribute that? How did this happen? The bird so sleepy that he didn't see him coming?
I mean, he was in a cage and the cobra was in the cage.
Well, I know, but you probably didn't keep them in the cage together.
Unless you did.
But you probably didn't.
Then how did the cobra get in the cage?
Sneaky snake.
What, did you not keep your cobra in a cage?
I would never have a cobra anywhere near me. Not for any reason. Canaries, not so bad.
Canaries.
They're yellow. They're cute.
Pretty. They make nice noises.
They
I had a ball python.
Fuck off.
It was actually my brother's.
Yuck. Yuck.
His name was Blake the Snake.
Blake the Snake.
Yes, Blake the Snake got out of his aquarium once.
Well, of course he did. Why the fuck wouldn't he?
Then we couldn't find him for quite a while.
So we sold the house.
No.
And we moved away.
I still have the house.
Did you find the freaking snake?
Yes. We thought somebody was breaking in. It was Blake the Snake coming out of the attic onto a shelf, knocking things off.
That's disgusting.
He was a ball python. He was cute.
No, yeah.
He was very particular about the color of mice he ate. I don't remember what color he wouldn't eat and what color he would, but some of the mice lived happily ever after in his cage with him because he didn't like that flavor of mouse.
For fuck's sake. Oh my God. Cussing a lot in this one. You bring out snakes and I'll just yuck. Yuck.
So anyway.
Snake. Kiss my ass.
Anyway, an Egyptologist was victim of the curse because his pet canary was eaten by his pet cobra.
So it was his pet cobra.
I don't know.
You didn't say that.
I don't know if it was or not.
Did the cobra just show up and he's like, what the fuck? Who knows?
mean, I'm thinking if you live in England and there is a cobra in your house,
Somebody's
since they
put it
are
there.
not, yes, native.
They're not
to
indigenous
that area.
to, yes.
It was brought in.
Did it break out of the zoo?
Maybe Tut brought it himself. I'm thinking they must have done a really bad job watching that mummy.
No, I don't think he did. I think it's all lies.
So this Egyptologist did not die
Okay.
for 13 years
Lucky number 13. Gotcha.
after the excavation. His name was James Breasted.
James what?
Breasted,
Breasted? Like he's got boobs?
I guess.
Okay.
Anyway, he died 13 years after the excavation, but it was shortly after a return trip to Egypt.
Showed him. So the return trip is what got him.
Yeah.
That's what he gets, man. Don't go looking for it. If you feel that you've gotten away with it, just let it slide.
Say, you
don't make eye
sacrificed
contact.
the canary the first time and
don't make eye
spared
contact
yourself.
With the scary mummy who's killing everybody.
Maybe he replaced the canary and thought he was going to be good. Maybe
No.
he had a parakeet this time and he's like, yeah, I'll take out the parakeet and I'll be fine. I'll
No.
go back.
No.
But no, he went back and immediately.
Who took care of his parakeet after he was dead?
Not a cobra.
No. I hope the neighbor took the parakeet in. Something. Not their fault that he was stupid, got dead.
It really isn't.
No, it really isn't.
No.
Fun. Okay.
And then, of course, Howard Carter.
Well, of course, Howard Carter.
Archaeologist, the very first person to enter Tut's tomb in 3,000.
The first one through the door.
Yep. He died.
Of course he did.
He died of lymphoma.
27 years later. 36 years later. I mean, if it was in closer proximity, I may have to be on board with it.
It was Tut's curse. He probably needed to keep Howard around to find out the names and addresses.
Oh, Howard's got records.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So he was like, I can't off you yet. I'm coming for you.
Yep.
But for right now.
Did he possess his mind?
Probably.
Like in the scary movie.
He just knocked on the door. Excuse me, sir.
Hey, fella.
Well, you woke me up. You brought me out here.
You rubbed my lamp. You woke me up.
Right.
Yes, that's Aladdin. Sorry.
Howard helped spread the rumor of the curse to keep people out of the tomb.
Mm-hmm. Go in here, you're going to get killed. I mean,
yeah.
We're all still alive, but you'll end up dead.
Especially local people, local Egyptians,
yeah.
because they were firm believers in that. So he was one of the original
perpetrators.
Yes. Just cursed.
It just so happens that people ended up dying 27 years later.
27 years, man.
Whatever it was. 35,
it is a
26.
Very patient curse.
It is a patient curse. You don't even know it's coming for you.
That's right.
You just turn 100 and then you're dead.
Mm-hmm. From lymphoma.
But that's how it goes, I guess.
Sometimes.
When you piss off, this Egyptian boy king with 3 strands of malaria and
a club
bad
foot.
bones and a club foot and deceased babies.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he had them in there, because they were scary.
I mean,
wouldn't they be?
That's what I'm thinking.
I think all of it sounds kind of scary.
I mean, have you ever seen the pictures of him?
Yeah. I like the sarcophagus. Let's just stick with that.
It's very nice.
That's pretty regal looking, if you will. The gold and the blue and all of that jazz.
Yeah, but his body?
No.
Not so pretty.
No. We'll just leave him in the box.
It's a good plan.
Leave him in the box.
That's a good plan.
I think so. I think that's where we leave it.
All right. So this is where we end it. So anyway,
Tell
the
us
curse
what you
was
think.
made up. The curse was completely made up.
Unless it wasn't. Maybe it was partially made up. Maybe it's partially true.
You think so? All right. Come back on Tuesdays for Superstitions and Saturdays for Am I the Asshole? And eventually We'll be back going on Thursdays with interviews and herbal apothecary.
Woo! We're gonna make shit.
We're going to do stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to people and make stuff.
Yes.
And once we have time.
And keep all of our interests going because we have many.
We got lots of hobbies.
Right on.
A jack of all trades and a master of none.
Exactly. I love you.
She does.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You have a fondness.
I do.
Uh-huh.